What's up you guys, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I am opening up my very first Boxycharm ever. This is for December 2019. This just came in the mail for my sister. I'm not subscribed to Boxycharm, but she is, and she gave me the box, and I'm gonna go ahead and just open it up, let you guys know what's in it, and then I'm also gonna let you guys know my thoughts. Like I said, this is the first time I'm ever opening up any Boxycharm ever, so you know I like to keep it really honest on here. I'll let you guys know my thoughts. Is it worth getting? I'm also going to apply every single product that comes in the Boxycharm, so I will go ahead and do that. So if you guys are interested in seeing how all of these products work on the face and my final thoughts, I did see some hit or misses, so if you guys are interested in that, make sure to keep on watching, and let's go ahead and just jump right into it. This one right here is just the regular $25 a month one. So I ended up doing the calculation and the value for it was $182. Okay, so the first thing I see right here, and I'm going to do swatches, is the Sia Marbled Light, and this looks like it's a blush. It's an illuminating blusher. Okay, that's kind of cool. So I guess it's like a blush mixed with highlight. And this is the packaging. Okay, it's actually really pretty. It does come with a little mirror, and then you have the blusher right here so you can see. So this blush right here is a really light pink. I do usually like my blushers to be like a little bit darker, but for the winter this is actually perfect. So this blusher actually retails for $26. It says right here that it's formulated without talc. So this lightweight buildable formula has a blend of matte pigments and finely milled illuminating particles. So I'm really excited to try that one out. So the next thing we have right here, it looks like a brow kit. So this is the Brow Bar Brow Makeover Kit. So it's designed with 2 long wearing brow shades, brightening brow lift, sculpting mascara gel, angled brush, and a flat brow brush. Okay, I like this. This retails for $30. This is actually really cool because it comes with like the whole kit with it. Let's go ahead and open it up. Okay, so this is a sculpting mascara gel. Okay, I really like this because if I'm in a rush, I tend to like these type of mascara gels, like just to run through my brows really quick. So maybe I will actually just use this. This is actually really nice. So I like that there's like a whole kit with it. I like the packaging is like gold. It looks very luxurious, and it comes with, you know, a whole kit. So this is actually really nice, so I'm gonna put that to the side. The next thing right here is Elemis. I've actually heard of this brand. I see a lot of like beauty YouTubers and people on Instagram using this. So this is the Elemis Pro Collagen Rose Facial Oil, and it retails for $79. So it says right here, it's a luxurious and lightweight facial oil infused with a precious trio of rose extracts to help smooth the look of fine lines and wrinkles, leaving the skin with a luminous glow. Alright, so I actually love facial oils. I use this a lot in the winter. I have one that I'm using a lot from Clarins right now. I love the Lotus one, and I've been using their new one. But if you have like combo skin like I do, like I tend to get very oily in my T-zone and the rest of me is like kind of dry, you're gonna love facial oils. I know it sounds weird and like counterintuitive to like apply oil with oil, but it'll actually help you. Putting oil on your face and making sure that your skin stays really hydrated will make sure that you produce less oil and you're less oily. So I notice whenever I tend to use more facial oils that my skin gets a lot less oily, and it actually smells really good. So okay, so right here it looks like we have an eyeshadow palette from Storybook Cosmetics. I've never tried any of their shadows before, so I'm so excited to use this today. I've used their brushes are amazing. So this is the Fairy Tales Little Red Riding Hood palette from Storybook Cosmetics. The retail on this is $35, which is, I guess, kind of pricey considering how small it is, but I think you're really paying for the packaging. This is a really nice packaging. Would be great to give as a gift as well. So this right here is warm tones. I don't think everyone is getting the same colors, so I think people are getting different colors. I'm not sure how Boxycharm works, but I guess you do like a quiz in the beginning. So let's read what it says. So it looks like this Storybook mini palette was created exclusively for Boxycharm. So it says right here that they combine stunning metallics and velvety matte eyeshadows. Like I mentioned before, it retails for $35. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and jump into it looks like the last product. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the 5th product. This is the Aesthetica Brush Cleanser and Conditioner. So this retails for $12. So this one isn't as high as a retail value as the rest of them, which makes sense considering this is just like a cleanser and conditioner. I don't know if I will be trying this today since I'm just going to be doing a makeup look, but I think it's really important. But I think it's really cool that they did bring like a makeup brush cleanser, because I think it's really important to clean your brushes. I know I clean my brushes really often since I'm always creating looks on here, and as you guys can see, I have no makeup on, so I'm gonna go ahead and just jump right on into it. So I'm gonna start first with the facial oil, the rose oil. So it comes with this little dropper, which is really nice so it doesn't create a mess, and I'm going to add a couple drops onto my hands. And what I like to do is kind of rub it in my hands together and then apply it onto the skin. And I do like to rub my hands together. I'm going to mostly focus I'm just gonna go ahead and apply this all over the face. I'm gonna wait like 5 minutes and just let that soak into the skin. I'll let you guys know how it feels afterwards, because at first it does feel very oily and like kind of greasy, like not in a bad way, just very like moisturizing. So I want to see how that actually ends up sinking into the skin. Okay, so let's start with the brows. I have the brow product right here and the little brush it comes with. I am just so tempted to honestly just use this little mascara gel, just because I like to use that type of stuff when I'm like in a rush. But let's just try to use the powder and see how that goes. You guys saw my swatch. This is a little too dark for my skin tone, but like I said, this is my sister's box, so maybe they do it based off of that. I'm not sure. So I'm going to get a little bit onto the brush. I'm using the lighter shade. You guys can see my eyebrows are pretty dark, but I'm gonna go in with the lighter shade. I have to admit, I have not used brow powder in a really long time. I just prefer the ABH Dip Brow, like I prefer like gel, or I really like brow pencils. But I remember a while ago I used to use this one from Sigma that I used to really like, so maybe this won't be too bad. Okay, what is going on there? Alright, so let me just take that off. So I think I'm just going to slightly fill them in, like just the areas that are really sparse. And then I think I'm just gonna go in with that brow mascara, and that's it, and we're just gonna call it a day. And I think I'm just going to avoid the darker concealer part. Now I know why I stopped using powder. I just feel like it's not that user friendly. I feel like on camera it looks so much worse than in person. Look that flattering. Okay. So like one small move with the brush, you completely like mess it up. Alright, so I have a makeup. I'm just going to honestly take this off. I'm not really feeling it. Honestly, I just feel like brow powder is really hard to use. So I think I'm just going to skip it and just go ahead and use that brow gel mascara. Alright, so first off the bat, I am not a fan of this little brush. If I were you, I would probably just put this to the side and use a different type of brush. I like the one from ABH, that's just the one I've been using, and it's very stiff, whereas this one is not as stiff, so it was just moving around and kind of making a mess. So I'm gonna go ahead and just brush this up, and I'm gonna use the end to sort of focus on any really sparse areas. And I'm already liking how this is looking better than the powder. I just found that kind of like not easy to use. And I think a lot of it honestly just had to do with the brush. So what you might want to do is actually take off a little bit so you don't have an excess amount. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and leave it like that. This one just looks like super heavy and thick. I think I just forgot to like take off the excess, so here it came out a little bit better. I'm gonna go ahead and actually add a little bit more powder onto my eyes, but I'm gonna use like a different brush just because I didn't like the brush that it came with. And what I'm gonna go ahead and do is actually use my own concealer, not the one that this came in with, but use something kind of light and just clean it, like carve it out with a concealer brush. So if you guys want to see me do that on camera, I will, and I'll just kind of speed through it, because I think I'm spending just way too much time on my brows right now. But now that I'm using a different brush for the powder, I'm actually liking how the application is coming out. I just really did not like the brush that this came with, so that usually is how it is. Usually the brushes that they come with aren't always that great. So yeah, I'm gonna use concealer to kind of carve out the brow, and I love doing that because it literally cleans it up. Like you guys can see I kind of have some hairs like all around, and when I clean it up with the concealer brush, it just makes it look so much better. I just honestly haven't gotten my brows done in a really long time. So I'm gonna go ahead and just pick up some concealer and I'm going to carve the brow, and you guys will see it makes a major difference. Use this brush right here. This is a flat definer in E15 from Sigma. This is the bomb if you're ever carving out your brows. I'm using a really light concealer. And I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing to the top. I don't always do the top, but this just came out kind of like messy. So I'm gonna go ahead and now blend that out. You can go ahead and use the same brush or another brush. And like I said, you guys can see how this concealer is really light. That's why I recommend going in with just like a really light concealer to really brighten it, because you always want your brow bone to be really light. It just makes it look really good. Once again, the brush I'm using is a Sigma flat definer in E15. If you are really into doing your brows, oh my god, you guys are gonna love this brush. This is the best brush for defining your brows. Alright, so I went ahead and zoomed out so I could do the rest of the face and all that. So my brows aren't looking bad, just this one right here is looking a bit dark. It almost looks like, you know, Shigo from Kim Possible. I'll go ahead and post a pic right there. Usually when I do the rest of my face makeup, it like tones down a bit. I just think it looks a little too dark, and I think like I said, I applied too much of that brow gel right here. So when you do apply the brow gel, I'll go ahead and hold it up. So when you are applying that brow gel, just make sure you are taking off any excess, because if not, it can be a little too dark. So, okay, so not to make this video any longer, I'm gonna go ahead and do my foundation and primer off camera and bronzer as well, since all that came in the Boxycharm was the blush. I already used the oil and I already used the brow, but I need to still use the blush and I still need to use the eyeshadow palette. So off camera, I'm going to go ahead and do my face, and then I'll come back on and do the blush and then the eyeshadow palette. Also, I wanna mention that the rose oil from Elemis actually ended up sinking into the face really nicely, and I feel like that's important because if it's a facial oil, sometimes you are wearing it out and you are wearing it underneath makeup, so I think it's important that it really soaks into the skin. So it feels really nice now. It doesn't feel on top of the skin. The first 10 minutes I saw it definitely on top of the forehead, like I could see it right there. Now it is definitely soaked in. It took a little while, it took about 20 to 25 minutes, so just letting you know. Alright, so I'm gonna pick up the Ciat London blush. I think that's how you say the name of it. This is the Marbled Light in Dusk, and I do have a little bit on my brush. I like this mirror that it comes with, so I'm gonna go ahead and just smile, because that's usually what I do when I apply my blush. Okay, right off the bat, I like that it is pretty pigmented. You don't have to like keep going in and in, like that was just one swipe and it goes onto the skin, so that is really nice. So I like to sort of just bounce it on the skin, and then afterwards I will sort of blend it out. So I'm gonna go ahead now and skip onto the eyeshadow. Eyeshadow is one of my favorite things, so I'm gonna go ahead and zoom in, but it doesn't really do anything. Like I was expecting, like, you know how some blushes you apply them and it sort of combines like a highlight with a blush? This is more on the matte side, which is what I wasn't expecting. I just think if it says illuminating blusher, it should sort of illuminate and have a bit of a shimmer to it, but that's okay with me because I actually prefer matte blushes. But I just wanted to let you guys know that kind of threw me off a bit. So let's go ahead and zoom in, because I'm now going to get onto the eyes. Doing eyeshadow on here is one of my favorite things, so let's go in with the Storybooks Cosmetics. This was exclusively made for the Boxycharm. Alright, so I went ahead and just put on some concealer on my eyes to just kind of prime them. So I'm gonna go in and actually pick this shade right here. This one right here is Journey. I'm just picking up like a blending brush, and I'm just really liking this peachy type of transition shade. So we're gonna go ahead, pick that up, use a blending brush and apply that into the crease and go back and forth. If you need to dip back into the palette to kind of build it up, go ahead and do that, because that is exactly what I am doing. I'm gonna go ahead and just do the same thing to the other eye. I'm applying Journey right into the crease and just going back and forth. So you guys can see right there, it is very, very pigmented. So all we're doing is just sort of blending it out into the skin, going back and forth, circular motions and windshield wiper. And when I get to the end right here, I'm just going to wing it out. Okay, so I'm gonna go in with the shade right here. This is like more of a darker brown, like medium warm. And I'm just picking up a blending brush. This is a Morphe brush. And this is the shade Basket. So I went in with this one first in the crease, which is Journey, and now I'm going in with Basket. Okay, so we're applying Basket, and we're going to apply that into the outer crease and sort of blend it out with the shade Journey. So Basket's gonna go right here. And the way I'm applying it is I'm pressing it down and then blending it out, and I'm going to bring it in just a little bit. And then when I get to the end right here, I am going to wing it out. As you guys notice, I am going really, really high up, even all the way into my brow bone. That is because I have hooded eyelids, so I always do that in all of my looks. Okay, so this is what it should look like. You should have Journey on top of here, which is that peachy warm type of transition shade. It's coming up a bit orange on camera, but it is a lot more peachier in person. Underneath we have a Basket in the outer corner. I'm gonna pick up the palette. There's two shades I want to specifically go in with. All right, so I'm gonna go in with Red and Pearl, and I just want to specifically go in with those because I think those are really pretty. I noticed that this one is a bit more shimmery. Like, these two are a lot more shimmery than this one. So these tend to be like more metallic-y, and this is just like a shimmer without that much shimmer to it or metallic to it. So it's kind of a little bit more muted, but I think these two will look really good together, and maybe this one just in the inner corner. Going in with a flat shader brush. I'm not sure what brush this is, but it's just a flat shading brush, and then I'll go in with Pearl after, and I'm gonna go in with Red first. I think it would be best if you actually do wet your brush a little bit, just because I mentioned that this red right here, like this shade for some reason isn't as shimmery. I'm gonna go in with my finger instead, just to get better application. All right. It seems like you really have to like press your finger into that shade to really get pigmentation. Alright, so I'm not totally into that shade right here. It's just a little hard to work with. Let me wet my brush and see. Alright, so I'm gonna go back in with Red, but this time I'm going in with a wet brush. It's like, I don't know, it's just a little hard to apply onto the lid. It feels like you have to like really press your finger in, or really press your brush. Okay, so I recommend maybe even cutting the crease, but I'm having so much difficulty applying that shade. Okay, so I'm only gonna apply that much onto the lid, and then the rest I'll go in with Pearl. So let me do the other eye really quickly. Okay, so I'm applying Red onto the other eye, and I wanna show you guys, like, I'm like digging my brush into it. So this brush is even still a little bit wet. I'm like digging my brush into it. I'm getting a lot off. Just gonna tap off a little bit. I'm trying to apply it onto the eye. And like literally nothing comes on. So I officially don't like that shade anymore, but since I already did it on one eye, I'm gonna have to do it onto the other. Once again, wetting my brush. And if I didn't go in with a wet brush, this would not come on at all. I'm gonna go in with Pearl with a flat shader brush, and we're gonna add that in right next to Red. All right, so here is Pearl. Let's add that into... All right, so this is a little bit better. Not like super great, but it's getting all over my face. I'm gonna go ahead and use my finger. Okay, once I use the finger, it's a lot better for Pearl, but for Red, it wasn't really working. And I just feel like it applies way better with your finger. So as you guys can tell, like I can literally like dive my brush in there. I'm gonna tap off a little because there's a lot of fallout. But it's just not that great. I'm gonna use my finger because I felt like that was the best color payoff. Not a huge fan of the shimmers, which is unfortunate because the mattes were actually really good and blended really nicely, but the shimmers are just not working for me, and I really like shimmers. So okay, so that is as good as it's gonna get. As you guys can see, I just decided to apply Pearl with my finger. I don't think it was amazing. I think it just got the job done. So I'm gonna go ahead and dip back into the palette and pick up Bad Wolf with my pencil brush. So I'm going to apply this shade right into the inner corner. And I hope that this one applies better. And okay, I'm gonna go ahead and apply some wing liner, some eyeliner, and then I'm gonna go off camera and kind of talk about the shadows because, gotta be honest, I wasn't really feeling it, but I kind of just want to finish up the look and let you guys know my thoughts. Alright you guys, so I went ahead and zoomed out the camera. I'm gonna talk about all the products probably like one by one and what I thought about them. So I actually have a lot to say about one of the products, something that I noticed with the ingredients, and I went online. It's actually the facial oil. So a couple of ingredients in there that aren't so great for your face. I'll leave that for the end. Let's just talk about what I like first, just to keep it positive, and then we'll talk about the stuff I didn't like. Alright, so to top it off, my favorite thing definitely is the blush right here. This is really, really nice. This is the Sia London Illuminating Blusher. I thought that was really pretty. It looks really good on the skin. I tend to wear blush a lot, so that was definitely a win-win for me. That was one of my favorites. Let's talk about now the eyeshadow palette. So the eyeshadow palette is kind of a dud for me. I thought the mattes were really nice, but the shimmers just didn't work for me, and I really enjoy using shimmers, so that was to me. I've never used their shadows before, so if you guys would let me know in the comments below if you have used their shadows and their other eyeshadow palettes are better, definitely let me know. I would be very interested about that, but I wasn't a fan of it, so I'm just going to put that to the side. The eyebrow kit, okay. I feel like I made it work and it came out good, but I feel like me and probably like other people were probably more used to using like brow pencils, you know. I feel like brows, like we already kind of found what we like, but I like the idea that like what I noticed in this Boxycharm was that it tried to have like a little bit of everything, like it had a good variety to it. So I like the fact that they did include the brow kit. Overall, I thought it came out good, but it wasn't my favorite. Probably won't be using it again just because I have other stuff that I prefer way better. So yeah, I'll put that to the side. Alright you guys, so I thought this was really interesting, and I went ahead on the website because I couldn't find the ingredients on the box. Turns out it's actually on the bottom right here. I'll go ahead and zoom in so you guys can see it a little bit better, or I'll just show you what it shows on the site because it's identical to here on the box. I feel like I'm not surprised to find out that there's like coconut oil in it, which is really not good for skin, especially if you have sensitive skin. That will break you out. First impressions, it was fine for me. I'm actually allergic to sweet almond oil and it's in it as well, so I didn't know that. So first impressions, I actually liked it. I felt like it was pretty hydrating, and I like that it soaked into the skin eventually, but like reading the ingredients now, I feel like this isn't so great for the skin. So I'll go ahead and just read it out for you. So the second ingredient actually is a derivative of coconut. Once again, not the best for skin. There is jojoba in it, which is great, and it's actually the third ingredient, and that is really, really good for skin. Jojoba mimics the sebum in the skin, so that's actually really good. So I'm glad that that is a third. But then they have sweet almond oil, and then right after they have fragrance in it. I don't know why they would need fragrance in it, because I feel like having rose hip and all these other rose extracts would just be good enough, but I don't know, they just wanted to add the fragrance. And then right after they have a coconut oil, which if you have sensitive skin, this will break you out. I noticed towards the middle part, it has the rosehip oil. Rosehip oil is not that expensive. You go on Amazon, you can find rosehip oil, cold press organic, so it isn't that expensive to make. Really, I feel like I probably won't be using it again just because of the ingredients in it, so definitely make sure you do actually read the ingredients, because if you look on the back here, like I was convinced this was all that was in it, but then I felt like looking more into it, and then I realized, I was like, oh, they put a bunch of other stuff in it, especially fragrance. If you have sensitive skin, fragrance is literally like in the very beginning of it. So like I said, whatever is in the beginning of the ingredient list is gonna have more of a concentration. So I will leave it at that. So if you were to ask me if I were to purchase a Boxycharm, I think I would say no, because I wasn't a huge fan of all the products in it, and I feel like it's too much of a hit or miss, and I think I would rather keep my money and spend it on like one item that I really like. But I'm so interested to see on how other Boxycharms are, because I have seen other Boxycharms and I feel like there's other stuff in it that I would like. So maybe I'm not a huge fan of this Boxycharm personally this month, but I'm interested to see in other ones. Alright you guys, so that is pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Make sure to subscribe. Let me know down below what your thoughts are on this Boxycharm December 2019, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.